Hey guys, welcome back to the stream. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different in the sense of we're not going to be reviewing a full game, we're rather going to be reviewing just the objective setup and potentially the team fights part of the games, depending on time and that sort of thing. So obviously the games today will rather be, instead of more Aegis League or more individual focused VODs, it's going to be my scrim that we had the other day. Right, my team scrimmed, and I'd just like to see how they approached objectives, and all that sort of stuff, right? So, in terms of objective setup, I'm just going to take us right over here quickly to this. Okay, perfect. So in terms of objective setup, there's three key aspects, right? Firstly, you have vision as the first key aspect. Then you have lane assignments. Okay, it's a long word, bear with me as I write it with my mouse. Lane assignments, and then lastly, wave states. Okay, these are the three things that go into objective setup. Okay, so all three of these things have to be met in order to, or these are all the aspects of objective setup, and we're going to be taking a look at how the team employed each of these different concepts into the playing of the game, right? So first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to go on over to right over here. This should be that, and then I'm going to take and open this quickly. So we're not going to be looking at laning phase at all, right? We're going to go ahead and skip over the first 14 minutes of the game. We'll start with game 2 just because why not. Right, so we'll head on over to 14 minutes, and then we'll take a look at how long it will be for the objective. So let me just move on over to the correct scene here. It should be this one. Okay, perfect. Everyone can see. All right, so let's go ahead and do all the correct things here. Manual camera, perfect. So at 14 minutes, let's just take a look here at timers. So obviously Barons in 5.5 minutes, Herald in 2 minutes, and game state is bad but not doomed. I think that's the correct way to say it here. So here we have Understar. Okay, Understar Caitlyn. Okay, perfect. So objective is in 1 minute 50. Let's just speed on ahead. It's going to be this objective. So we're going to look at how the team plays towards this objective in terms of this game, right? So obviously from about 1 minute 20 is probably where I'd want people to start basing already, right? And then you try and get the vision down in enemy jungle, and then start setting up your lane assignments for playing for the Herald, right? Obviously in a game set like this, it's really hard to play for the Herald, considering 80 carry is, I don't know if it's really far ahead, 600-ish gold ahead, not the end of the world, right? And yeah, where's the rest of the gold lead? Jungle, basically only jungle. So jungle is the biggest gold lead, but is a Maokai that is going more tanky, so it shouldn't be the end of the world. Potentially still able to play for this Herald, considering the Camille should have Pry on the top side of the map, right? So we're going to speed on along here. Herald spawns in 40 seconds, at least junglers on the top side of the map. We've got everyone moving to the top side of the map here from us. We're obviously in this game with the red side. Okay, so we got everyone moving towards the top side of the map. And yeah, unfortunately here, Camille doesn't take the way out, right? So looking here, Herald spawns in 40 seconds. We see Maokai here, and we have Orianna at red buff and Jarvan at Crux. Okay, so the correct play here would be to walk out here, right? Get out here. I don't think the TP is up. There's no TP available, but we do have everyone committed to the top side of the map, meaning if Camille stays alive here, it should be completely fine. However, Camille does not want to let Maokai hold the wave, and Jarvan accidentally goes back onto his Crux, but this does buy time for his jungle and his mid laner to get more or closer into the fight. However, Camille is completely on the wrong side of the fight here and is gonna die. Camille dying here means that this objective no longer can be played for, as there are just too many members committed to the top side of the map here. It is technically even 4-4, but because the people here on this side are much stronger, and because they can get into the river first, considering Orianna Jarvan have to walk out like this, means that they're going to have prior on the Herald and they're going to be able to pick this up. So in terms of this Herald, obviously Herald's not the best time to start looking at objective setups, but in terms of this Herald, we have no spectator, just not really playing very well, to be honest, completely just gifting away a kill here, and then in turn gifting away Herald if they choose to do so, right? So we should see here, they should move over to the Herald as it spawns, they do, and there's nothing we can really do to contest it, right? Put Varus back in the bot lane, which is totally fine, he runs bot, picks up the wave. In terms of our play, we kind of just go back to farming, right? We leave mid lane exposed and we go back to farming. So not the biggest fan of that. But now we have Dragon coming up in 1.5 minutes, and now we have to start thinking about how we want to be setting up for the Dragon in this situation, right? We have to think about where our goal is. We also have to think about maybe we just want to give the Dragon. If we give the Dragon, what do we want to do instead, right? So there's two options. Okay, first we give the Dragon, and if we give the Dragon, we want to be moving more up towards the top side of the map. Right, just going up there. I'm going to speed forward a little bit just so that we can see at 1 minute 20 what the plan is, you know, and respawn. So obviously with the respawn timer coming out now, we should basically be starting to look into lane assignments immediately. Right, that's kind of the play here. Nautilus is going to get caught out here. Nautilus is going to die. Nautilus dying means vision is now gone as well. We can't pick up vision anymore for the objective, which is very not ideal. But in terms of wave state, we've put Camille to the bot side of the map. Right, she doesn't have the TP, which probably gives the impression that we are looking to play for the Dragon. Okay, we're looking to play for the Dragon here. In terms of how we're going to look to play for the Dragon, okay, we have Orianna with the TP up, heading towards the top side of the map. Okay. Dragon's up in 25 seconds. In terms of playing for this Dragon, we've now killed the mid laner, we've killed the support, and we've got one ward down here that's about to expire. Right, Camille's in the bot side, pushing out bot wave. Orianna's fist fighting Ornn here in the top side. And then Dragon is up in 20 seconds, and we have people rotating to the top side of the map to try and kill Ornn. We do pick up the kill on Ornn. Jarvan spawns, but in the time that we've killed them, right, we've picked up 0 vision in the bot side of the map. We've picked up really 0 vision in the top side of the map. And so Orianna is heading back towards the top side of the map here, right, to try and push out the wave. So in terms of lane assignments, we have Orianna on top, Camille bot. I think this is totally fine, right? You obviously have the teleport on the Orianna. However, the big problem here is Orianna, in terms of this game, wants to be in the fight basically as soon as the fight starts. Due to the fact of her, you know how she has a big ultimate. If the Jarvan goes in with the ball on top of him, it can lead to that really big shockwave, right? So Orianna having to TP into a fight is already a bit of a weird one. Right, if you're going to TP with Orianna, if you're playing champions that want to be there at the start of the fight, like poke champions, for example, I know for this team as well, it's Jace. Jace is a big one. So poke champions or someone who wants to be kind of the initiator, right, like Ornn. You also want these champions to all be at the fight before the fight starts, considering if you TP in after the fight started, you then lose a lot of the value you might otherwise have had, right? An Ornn TPing after the fight started is not going to have the same impact as Ornn TPing beforehand and starting the fight, right? So in terms of the Dragon, a couple seconds left for it to be spawning, 5 seconds left. We have one blue ward put down, right? We have the bot lane pushing out. We have top lane pushing as well. The teleport comes out from the Talon. Now, the reason the Talon TP comes out here is because they also want to play for this Dragon. They don't want to give it up. Jarvan is finally more towards the bot side of the map. Another ward gets placed down here by the Nautilus, just getting a little bit of vision into the enemy jungle. But by now, it's a little bit too late, right? Dragon has already spawned. It's a bit late to be setting up for the objective. Okay, Orianna is just still pushing out the top wave at this precise moment, right? There's probably looking to be a fight here, right? We got the mid wave pushed. We didn't push the bot wave, which is a little bit unfortunate, but Camille does have first move into the river. Okay. And so in terms of red vision, let's just take a look at red vision here for this objective, right? We have a control ward in the river bush here, which is going to do absolutely nothing if we push out the wave. So this is a kind of redundant ward. We have a ward put here, which is a good ward. This is a nice ward. Clear, it gives a lot of vision in terms of where they're going to be playing for the dragon. And we got a ward in the pit, and that's it. This is all we see. We have 2 good wards on the dragon that we've known has been spawning for 5 minutes. So this is all the prep we've done. We've pushed out mid-wave. We have Orianna in the top lane, potentially looking to TP down, and we have mid-wave that's just going to be pushing into us, right? So this is not very good lane setup in terms of wave states, right? But this is the setup that we have, and I just want to see how the Baron does end up playing out. We pick it up uncontested, so that's good. We get that one uncontested. Baron spawns in 2 minutes, so let's head on over to 1920 to see how we potentially look to play for this Baron. So Baron is spawning soon. Obviously, a big fight just happened that we got the short end of the stick from, and we're now 4.5k gold down at about 20 minutes. So Baron spawning relatively soon, Dragon spawning in 3 minutes. So in terms of the game state, we're looking to play very defensively around this Baron, right? Yes, we have the top tier 1 still up and available, but we're probably not going to be looking to play for it. We're just looking to try and dissuade them from playing for it, right? That's probably the game plan here for us. And in terms of defensive vision, you just want to, firstly, you want to have the top side warded a little bit. So this ward is fine, gives you a nice little bit of vision, but you probably want to ward around here as well, and then a ward probably in the top side of the jungle here, as well as a ward in the pit. You always want to have a ward in the pit. There's a really good place to put the wards in the pit, right? You can get a ward like basically right here, which makes it really hard for people to hit it sometimes. You have to like do some funky things with your camera to try and hit that ward. So that's probably how we want this to be warded, just in case of you know, like a Baron, right? So this ward here is really weak because it's really easy to kill, right? So you want it like to be right here at the back of this Baron, right here, like behind his big head, right? You want it to be put like right over there, right over there, right? That's kind of where you want it to be put in, put the ward to be put, because if it's here, it's really easy to clear. If it's behind there, you might accidentally start the Baron, and then you can, you know, like do some damage, and it's really funny, right? So in terms of this ward, I'm not a big fan of this ward. It doesn't really see much, right? I think it's much better to leave it here, especially if you've got the Baron warded. There's absolutely no reason to try and see into the river. You can just put it right over here, and you'll be totally fine. If you do want to get in the river, please put in the pixel brush so that you actually see more in terms of this lane than this ward over the wall. I think this is not a very good ward. Doesn't achieve much in terms of functionality, and a blue ward here isn't going to provide a lot of safety to someone hanging around on the top side, right? So yeah, let's keep speeding through this, right? We obviously have vision of the Baron. You know, it's seen, so they can kind of know it's there. Our vision has been cleared, right? We put another ward over here to get a bit more vision out in the play. Control ward comes out, which is good. In terms of where we're standing here, we cannot be standing here, right? We cannot be standing here. If we're standing here without any vision in the bot side of the map, we're in trouble. So the thing about mid lane is you want really shallow vision on both sides of the map, because there's both sides of the map that can kill you, right? Having only one side of the map warded isn't going to do much for you in terms of how to play a game state, right? So if you're going to be looking to push up in the mid lane, you need very shallow wards on each side of the river, right? Jarvan acts as a ward in this case, right? He can be an early indicator of something going to happen on the top side of the map, but you need to commit wards to the bot side. If we look at the top side, right, there's no way that they can actually enter through here, right? We have the back warded in case they TP and then they try and run in here. Obviously, if they TP and run around the back here, they can obviously get in here, but the chances are that this isn't where they're going to come from, right? This is not where they're going to come from. We have the entrance kind of warded here with the Jarvan. We have the Baron warded, so they can't go over the wall. We have the Tribush warded. So we have this kind of this side of the jungle covered, but we have really deep vision. Whereas on the bot side of the map, there's absolutely nothing, and there hasn't been for a long time, right? I mean, if we look here, absolutely no vision, which means we cannot be pushing up here. If we want to push up into the mid lane, okay, as a couple members, we need to have some very shallow vision, right? Getting a ward kind of in this bush is good. Getting a ward in this bush is here, or just in this little gap here is very good. Getting a ward on the raptor pit is good. You just want some wards here just to cover against like just people like walking into you from the bottom of the map, like what happens here. Right, the fight starts, and that's a couple of kills going over to blue side. Now with 3 kills down, right, we have Camille on the bot side of the map. Right, the Baron's gonna come, so we're probably looking to trade this tier 1 now for the Baron, right, because Baron should be started. Ward comes out, they can't really see the Baron's gonna be taken. And in the bot lane, micro misplay, we die on the bot side of the map. And so it's just a disaster all round basically, in terms of this game. With Baron up, it means we can't really leave our base, which means we cannot play for this dragon at all. We cannot play for the dragon at all. The only thing we can do here is, right, we kind of know that they're looking to base, right, off the Baron take, right, which means that we want Nautilus to walk in and get a ward on the Baron. I mean, not the Baron, the dragon, right? We can't play for the dragon, but we want to get a ward on the dragon, and the reason we want to get a ward on the dragon is so we can see when they're doing it, so we know how aggressively we can position on the top side of the map. We don't want to be bot side at all when this dragon is going to be spawning. I think this is not good from Jarvan. I think he should be looking to move towards the top side of the map and look to make something happen. Either a kill on the Talon, which is going to be a nice shutdown, or take enemy jungle camps, or play for this tier 2 tower, right? I think we have to make this decision really early. Right? Basically, like, as soon as we know the Baron's gone, we have to be like, okay, you know what, we're going to play for the top side of the map. They're probably going to look to play for the jungle, so let's overload resources into that top side and see if we can make something work. Right, that has to be the play here. Jarvan ends up clearing camps. The problem with Jarvan clearing camps here on the bot side of the map is, right now, Dragon's about to spawn. It's too late for Jarvan to go up to the top here and impact this part of the map. Dragon will die way too quickly. No one else can really rotate. We can't push out the wave fast enough, and so then it's just in a little bit of a struggle, right? Like Jarvan just has to base, and we can't really make use of the fact that they're going to be on the dragon, right? So that's kind of the problem here with how this has gone, which means we trade the dragon for nothing. Right, lane assignments wise, we send Camille bot, that's fine, just get her a bit more gold. Camille at about 2 items will start hurting really hard. At 3 items will kind of be a little bit unbeatable in the side lane from anyone really. So we just want to get this Camille to 3 items as soon as possible, right? And we have very good vision set up here for the Camille in order to push up to roundabout here, right? We can probably pick up another wave here without being too scared of the repercussions. Obviously, we see Maokai at the top here, which makes it a little bit scarier now. Like, we don't know where Maokai is anymore. This ward over here is not a very good one. Okay, in this ward, you probably want it to be warding right over here in this spot, so you can see all 4, like, well, I guess it's 3, right? All 3 entrances. This ward doesn't provide much in terms of value. The control ward comes out, and Camille walks forward. So Camille's going to get caught out here, obviously not looking at the map at all. In terms of this play, is going to die for it. And again, on the top side of the map, there is nothing we can really do. Talon has the spell shield, right, which makes the Jarvan relatively irrelevant with the Orianna. Potentially can look to make something happen, but this is a 1-on-1 Orianna and a 0-5-8 Jarvan. Not really got any kill threat, which means that as a team, we're just bleeding, and we're bleeding really hard right now, because there's nothing that we can really do, right? We're going to skip forward a little bit here to the next objective, which is going to be Baron, which should be 3 minutes, so 26:50. Right over here, that's fine. So Baron spawning in 1 minute, and they just have to. They're probably looking to base here, right? But we don't have any numbers yet, so we can't really commit to anything. And yeah, the best we can do here again is just look to set up some sort of vision around the Baron. And yeah, I mean, there's nothing much we can really do anymore at this point in the game, right? We're just kind of in a lot of trouble here. We have some sort of defensive vision set up, but we probably just want to get a ward down on the dragon, but on the Baron. But dragon's also coming up, so we have to get 2 wards down almost simultaneously. And so there isn't really much. I think we have to choose the objective that we think they're going to play for, which probably will be Baron, because we don't care about the dragon that much. It's only a 3rd dragon, so we're not too bothered about the dragon. We should probably be looking to commit to resources to try and pick up ward on the Baron, but unfortunately we do end up dying, and that should just be the end of the game for us in terms of this game. So in terms of the game, in terms of setup, obviously we were really far behind at the start. Actually, we weren't really. I think we kind of threw the game but just looking at gold lead. But in terms of objective setup, not much going in the way of objective setup during this game, right? So that's going to be that game, right? This should be the end of the game here. It should just be, yeah, it is just going to be the end of the game. So we'll go ahead and look at the next game. Start loading that one into the game. So 20 minutes for that game. So it's going to be relatively, this should be first game, I think. Yes, it is first game. Okay. It's going to be first game. And let's go over to 14 minutes. Let's do all the things we're supposed to be doing. Dragon is in 3.5 minutes. Baron's in 5.5 minutes. Herald's in 1.5 minutes. So in terms of this game, Herald probably is our next objective. So we're gonna head over to that one. We're gonna check how we prepare for the Herald. So in terms of how you end up preparing for Herald, it's a very weird one, right? Because it really depends on where the gold is on your team, right? So if we're looking at like gold in this game, it's probably like Gwen and Xayah a little bit, right? That's where I'd probably assume. Yeah, it's gonna be Gwen and Xayah. Okay. So we want Gwen and Xayah to be near the Herald, but at the same time we also want the Ornn to be at the Herald, especially if the Ornn is going to be, like, he wants to be there at the start of the fight, right? We just spoke about the fact that that is how we want people to be, we want, if there's a champion that wants to be in the fight early, we want them to be at the fight early. In terms of the Herald play, you can do two things. You either play for the Herald or you look to dissuade Herald, right? I think because we have a lead and because we don't have a lead necessarily right now, obviously that the tower going down, but due to the fact that Gwen is so strong in this top side of the map, we definitely want to be looking towards playing for that Herald, right? And how we end up playing for the Herald is going to be pushing the wave, right? So we want to have a bit of lane control here on the top side of the map, right? So it's 20 seconds. It takes a couple of seconds. So it takes 20 seconds for the wave to come in, which means we want to start getting a minion advantage on this wave and then pushing out the next wave, right? Otherwise, I think we're a bit slow. We probably wanted to get a minion advantage on the wave before this, get it to about 3 minions now on this wave, and then look to push out this wave that's coming in here, and then use that pressure and move down to Herald, right? Obviously, with 25 seconds on the Herald, the Jarvan cannot be on the bot side of the map. Right, this is not a very good place for Jarvan to be in terms of actually looking to play for those objectives. But if we look at what happens here, you're still holding a freeze. The Gwen is still holding a freeze. And the problem with holding a freeze as a top laner, if you're looking to play for the Herald, is the fact that the freeze makes it so that you can't have prior and you don't have first move, which gives the Jax the time it takes for you to walk from here to about here, extra time to play for. Right, so about 2.5, 3 seconds. That Jax can be fighting, that the rest of us cannot. Obviously, we're committing a lot of resources into the bot lane here. Herald has spawned. Vi is moving straight there, due to the fact that, you know, the wave is kind of more on Gwen's side here, right? Obviously, the wave is starting to push here, but the problem is, in terms of this wave state, right? Jarvan's bot, Blitzcrank and Xayah are bots, so we have 3 members in the bot side, and they've completely invested in playing towards this Herald, right? In terms of the wave state, if we take a look up here, right, we see them on the Herald. Gwen gets first move, but Gwen technically shouldn't be allowed first move, but she does end up having first move, and then and gets in a little bit of trouble here. They could potentially win this fight, I think. I think they do maybe win this fight if they choose to stay. Obviously, with Jhin Melio walking up, it provides a lot more pressure, and this objective becomes a lot harder to play for. Right, they do pick up the kill on the other side of the map, but they do trade it, and so Vi can potentially look to be playing towards this Herald. Now, so in terms of setup for this objective, not much in the way of setup going this way. This Herald should just be given over, and for a team that had as much top control as this, I think it's really, really bad that we give up Heralds. I think we shouldn't be looking to give up Heralds if our top lane is as strong as he is. Right, so that's going to be that one. Drake spawns in 50 seconds, so now let's go back a little bit in terms of how we prepare for Drake, right? So Drake spawning 110, we're basing on in the bot lane, right? Gwen is moving top again, right? Doesn't have the TP available, which means that here you're looking to keep Jax out of the fight, right? Jax doesn't have the TP, of course, in this game. So the Jax not having the TP means that we just have to try and lock Jax into the lane in the top side of the map here, right? That's kind of what we have to do here as blue side, right? We have to just lock Jax. Drake spawning in 50 seconds. In terms of setup for the Drake, we're out on the map nice and early, which is good. You know, we clear some of the vision here. And we place a control ward in this bush, and this control ward is a really weird one, right? We obviously sweep really early here, which I don't think is necessary for the Blitzcrank. I think we don't have to be sweeping this part of the map. I don't think it does much in terms of, you know, actually denying vision. I don't think you have to worry about this too much, right? They don't have any TPs in the game, so a ward here doesn't mean anything, right? So sweeping here is not worth much at all. We have this Scuttle Crab, we have a ward over here, and we have a control ward in the river bush for mid lane, right? So in terms of lane setup, we have no one in the bot lane. Obviously, the wave is pushing out really hard in the bot side of the map due to the fact that we've taken the tower. So we have Xayah Blitzcrank in the mid lane to try and pick up some prio. Right, Owen probably shouldn't be standing here as well. He should probably be looking to head towards the bot side of the map and match this wave that Rumble should be pushing back towards us under the tower. But he does have some free time with the fact that Rumble is going to take a little while to hit that wave, and he decides to use his free time more towards the mid lane here. And Gwen moves down as well. Obviously doesn't have the TP, but Gwen moving down here basically means that we need to start playing for the dragon as soon as possible, right? We also haven't done much in terms of vision setup for the dragon. We don't have any deep wards, right? In terms of what we see right now as blue side, this is what we see, right? We don't know where anyone is really. We have a ward here, we have a ward here, this ward doing absolutely nothing in terms of the game, and we have no flank vision here. We don't have any vision around looking for a flank, like maybe Vi's snuck past already. And yeah, we're going to start looking to play for the Drake here. We get a kill in the mid laner, and then we put a blue ward down, and we see that this isn't up, and so now we have to start wondering. We see Jax coming down as well. Nice hook comes out. Vi is obviously behind us, which we see, but if we look at where Ornn is in relation to the rest of the team, right? Gwen is firstly like in terms of the setup for this Drake, we've set up no vision at all, when we probably want to be looking to pick up some vision here, whether we move with jungle with the support, looking to get some vision down, right? Our lane assignments is we've dropped, we pushed top with the Gwen, and then moved her down. We've got the Xayah Blitzcrank in the mid lane, which is good. We want to get that prio in the mid lane to look to play for the Drake, and we had no one in the bot lane, right? So then Ornn has to try and go deal with bot lane. I think maybe something better would be to put the Ornn in the top lane here, get the Gwen into the bot side of the map so that we can get push, because Gwen doesn't necessarily need to be like with the team, right? Whereas the Ornn really does need to be. Or we don't commit Ornn to the bot side of the map a little bit earlier, right? If we look here, we don't commit Ornn towards going to the bot side of the map. We just walk straight down river here and look to play for the dragon immediately. Now the reason we would do this is because Ornn wants to be with the team when they're looking to do the fight, right? That's why we want to do this. We don't want Ornn to go mid. We sack the wave. We've already made the decision 40 seconds prior to not play towards this wave, right? With the Ornn going mid. And so if you're going to play for the wave, you need to give up river control. And because we've invested the Gwen into the bot side of the map as well, we don't want to be giving river control. So Ornn should be standing right here as they start the fight, compared to where he stands here, where they basically trade. They just give away the Ornn basically kill for free. And yeah, the fight does end up going in our favor. Obviously, them just being a lot weaker, the Gwen being a lot weaker than anyone else. But we've lost Ornn for virtually no reason. Right, and now we also have absolutely zero vision except for a ward over here in terms of where Vi is. So if we spot Vi out, right, we see her, she goes over the wall. So we then walk around, we see her go back around, and she does pick up the smite. So she gets the smite as well, and yeah, now we're in a very uncomfortable position here. We probably will kill the Vi, potentially. Nope, looks like she'll get out, so that's fine. It is what it is. Do they have vision on the dragon? Have they had vision? Yeah, they had vision in the pit. Unlucky. So, in terms of this objective setup, virtually non-existent in terms of the three aspects I mentioned before, right? Vision, lane assignments, and wave states. We kind of sacked the wave state in bot lane. We didn't assign anyone to the bot lane. Bot lane being a vital part of a dragon play, right? Dragons are played in mostly mid and bot, and then obviously if you have a side lane or top, Baron is played on top and mid, and then if you have a side lane or bot, right? So we played towards the top lane with our side laner. However, we did not commit resources to the bot lane, which means we give up the tower, we give up the dragon, and we give up a few waves, both to the tower and Rumble picking up some of the gold as well. So a bit of a disaster setup here in terms of how we ended up playing for this one. Baron spawning in 2 minutes means that we're probably looking to play for this objective as well, considering we do have the Gwen and the Xayah. But when you have the Xayah, you're looking to play for this objective more at 2 items rather than before 2 items, right? So until Xayah has 2 items, we're not really looking to play towards this objective. So we can just speed this along a little bit, I think. Wait for Xayah to pick up her 1k gold. So now we have the Navori Quick Blades on the Xayah. So now that we have the Navori Quick Blades on the Xayah, this is when we should start looking to play for this Baron objective. Alright, so if we take a look at this game, how would we want to be playing for the Baron? We want someone to be on the bot side of the map that can look to draw some sort of pressure, right? Which would be the Gwen, right? The Gwen having the TP as well means that she is probably the one that has to go bot here. And now that we see the Xayah on the Navori Quick Blades, Xayah has to communicate to the team the fact that she does have this Navori, and with the Navori then, you know, say, okay, I'm really strong now, let's look to play towards this Baron. At the same time, Gwen can also be looking to start farming towards her Nashor's Tooth, which will also help her shred this Baron even faster. So she needs to be on the bot side of the map here. She needs to be on the bot side of the map, pushing out a little bit, drawing a little bit of pressure, getting people to commit to the bot side so that the rest of the team can then look to play towards the top side. In terms of vision setup for the Drake, we have 1 ward in their jungle, and that's virtually it. Right, that's it. We want to be committing Xayah Blitzcrank into the mid lane once they spawn up, right? We want to commit them to the mid lane. Get this wave kind of pushing as much as possible. And then once this wave is pushed, we want to start using the push in the mid lane to either impact the top lane or to move into the enemy jungle and get some wards down in preparation for a Baron, right? In terms of bot lane, unfortunately we can't really commit any wards to the bot lane, considering we have to commit most of our wards towards the top side of the map here to firstly potentially play for this top turret and secondly play for the Baron as well. Right? So far we've lost in this last couple of in the last 50 seconds, we've lost jungle, we've lost mid, and we've lost support, which is really crazy considering the wave state and considering we're just waiting for the Xayah to hit the 2 items so we can look to play for the Baron. Right, that's kind of all that we're doing right now. And so because Ornn is dead, we can't get top prio, which means we can't really walk up past maybe here if we get mid prio. If we get mid prio, we can maybe walk up to Raptors here, like a little circle like this. That's probably the furthest we can go, since we can't really go further and risk top lane collapsing on us until the Ornn gets back alive, right? So Xayah here pushes out the mid wave. Can't really push it out because we don't have any support going for her. We're clearing camps on the bot side of the map, right, with Baron being up, and 0 vision, 0 top pressure. Our jungler cannot be in the bot side of the map. Camps are not important in this case. We have to deny this Baron from being taken by the enemy team. Right? Yes, they don't have the best Baron, right, with the Jhin and those Jax being really far behind, but they have a very strong Rumble and they have a very strong Vi, and there's no one on the map. So we do see that they're not on the Baron with the far side coming out, and this is a necessary far side because we can't really do anything. We can't walk up here. We don't have any shallow vision either, which means they could just be coming in behind us right now in the mid lane. And we have no cover either because Jarvan is in the bot side of the map playing with the Gwen, who wants to be isolated and split pushing. So very weird. They clear the vision top side of the map. They could be doing it right now. They could be taking the Baron right now in this game. So yeah, much better from the Jarvan to be moving more towards the top side of the map here. Right. in terms of the fight here, I'm just gonna go back, right? So we see the Vi here, and Xayah with the mid push means that she can move first. The TP comes out, right? Let's just speed this up a little bit. So the Ornn comes in here, very nice. Xayah's relatively untouched, and fight keeps going a little bit here. Xayah being caught by the Jax, attention being really split. They kill Jax, and right now they should drop this, get some vision, firstly over here, and then over here, and then play for the Baron immediately. Right, we have the Ornn alive, we have the Xayah alive, we have a lot of people alive, and so we should just be looking to play for this Baron. We know that the Jhin doesn't have ultimate, we know Melia doesn't have ultimate, we know Rumble doesn't have ultimate. They probably have to look to be basing, so we probably want to then now be playing towards this Baron. Right, get the vision down, firstly probably in this bush here, secondly maybe just over the wall here, a third one maybe in the tri-bush, and then look to play Baron. That has to be what we end up doing in this situation. But I said we could go back to the mid lane, and then we just we get another kill, and we break mid tower. And I'm surprised as to why we don't play for the Baron here in this situation. Personally, I think this is a very good Baron angle in terms of actually picking up the Baron. Right, we obviously see the jungler being dead, the top laner being dead as well. Rumble being 0 HP, Jhin having used everything, Melia having used everything. I thought that was a very easy Baron angle. But now we'll have to see how they end up playing for the dragon, right? So obviously base is coming out here. Potentially, hopefully, I really hope that they're coming out here. They do come out. And now we have to look at how lane assignments are done. Where do the lanes go? Right, so we sack top lane, which is totally fine, right? We want the Ornn to be in the fight before the dragon comes out. So this is totally fine. Ornn should probably be walking more with the Xayah here in order to allow her to walk into the lane here and actually push out this wave. Gwen in the bot side, virtually alone. Has to be very careful, though, of enemy team collapsing on her. So she has to be moving more with the wave. She dies early, right? Team not really in a position to follow up. No vision set up, so her death is going to be very big. Dragon spawns. And now they're on a flank. They are potentially on a flank right now, and we just don't really care about it. We're just gonna, you know, head on over to the Baron again. We're one person down in this fight. Okay. In terms of vision, if we look at vision here, we have a ward, right? We have a ward here, and that's a ward over here, so we see the Jhin. So we see the Jhin, and then we have a ward here, and that's all that we have in this fight, which means that we then walk into a choke into the red carpet, right? Which means that Xayah cannot impact this fight really. They get put in a little bit of a tough position, right? Very nice Jarvan Cataclysm to just, you know, get two people going there. But in terms of objective setup and lane assignments, we haven't really utilized the Gwen lane assignment at all. We don't have any vision set up for any objective really. Right, we're just kind of, yeah, we're just kind of going in completely blind, not really knowing where anyone is, and then looking to play objectives, and hoping that we can then win. Right, which is never really where you want to be. Obviously, Gwen being alive now means that she can walk towards the dragon. The mid laner being dead means that this dragon should be relatively free to pick up. Right, we just have to try and tag Vi, so that Vi doesn't do the same thing she did before and just steal it. Much better here to get a ward over the wall of the Baron pit, right? And then, I mean the dragon pit rather, and then we can then, you know, take the dragon more comfortably. Vi does the exact same thing again, because why wouldn't she? You know, she's in the back here. And, yeah, Vi dying here could potentially mean that Baron is on the cards. We don't have any vision set up for Baron, but Baron is still a play that we can do. You know, we're gonna move here to pick up the mid prio. Okay. In terms of this, the Ornn is kind of covering Xayah until Blitzcrank gets here, which is fine. Jarvan's going to base, probably move towards the top side of the map. Again, this is possibly an objective they're playing for, but don't quite necessarily think so. Right, with Ornn, Rumble just having died and Jax being seen on the top side of the map, it should be fine. Here, we see Gwen... let me pause this quickly. Gwen doesn't have the TP, and this is our objective. Right, which means we either stall this objective for 40 seconds for the TP, or we rotate Gwen up immediately. I don't think it's a good idea. We should rather use those 40 seconds to then set up some vision around the Baron, and then with that vision then, you know, look to play for the Baron instead. But yeah, we'll have to see how it does end up going. Not a very good ward here at all from the Blitzcrank. Obviously doesn't see into this part of the pit, and if you're going to be thinking about where are they going to ward from a defensive position, where are they going to ward the Baron, and it's for sure not going to be in this little vision that it provides. It's going to be over the wall, so not a very good ward here, and also having Blitzcrank be in the vulnerable position like this is not ideal. Rumble ult is poor. Blitzcrank might still be in a little bit of trouble here. Xayah not even on the map. Let's just go back a little bit here. So Xayah's based, which means Blitzcrank is in a little bit of an uncomfortable position. This fight we really shouldn't be continuing. We should rather be looking to try and get Jarvan, or not Jarvan, Blitzcrank rather, to get out of the fight. Right, we obviously see that we see everyone committed to the top side of the map here. Gwen doesn't have the TP just yet either, right, 20 seconds, Blitzcrank dies, Jarvan goes in, he dies as well. Like, in this case, we have to sacrifice Blitzcrank for being in such a vulnerable position. There's absolutely no way we actually look to play this fight. Just considering Blitzcrank is caught really far out, right? Doesn't really have anywhere to go. Doesn't really have escape tools. So we should just leave him, keep our people alive, and then look to play for the fight afterwards on the Baron. Because at this point, Blitzcrank isn't really doing much in terms of full-on team fights, outside of maybe creating some space with his hook, right? So yeah. We are going to go look to play, we're going to look to split the map, which is really good. I don't think we do this at all. This is completely irrelevant from Ornn and Xayah. We know that they're doing Baron, we know that we're trading it. You know, there's absolutely zero reason for us to be doing this. We should be looking to start defending a Baron play. Right, what is a Baron play? A Baron play is when the enemy team uses the Baron-powered minions to look to play for objectives, right? In this case, towers. And what that means, defending it, is when the enemy team's going to get Baron, and you know you're not going to be able to contest it, you want to de-push waves. That has to be your first objective every single time. Now, the reason this is your objective is because if the wave is here, there's going to be no time wasted for them to try and push it into this tower that's right here, right? The minions are going to kill it really quickly. Compared to if they have to catch the wave here, it's going to be a lot longer for them to get the wave from here, catch the next wave here, and then be able to push the tower. Right? You just buy yourself a little bit of time by de-pushing mid and top waves, right? You can have Xayah going top, or Ornn going top, or whoever you want going top, the other one going mid, just pushing these waves out so that it takes a little bit longer. And then also with the Gwen here, pressuring the towers, that can also then make super minions spawn potentially if you manage to pick up the inhibitor, right? Or because the wave is so pushed, it's like pushed so deep, they have to either sacrifice this wave in terms of how to play for the Baron, which means they can't play for 3 lanes, they can only play for 2 lanes, right? Or they have to commit a member here and waste probably a minute and a half of the Baron in order to get the wave from here all the way back to this tower to play for, right? So that's how you protect against the Baron. You look to kill some of the waves that you see on the map, right? Jax here is going to almost kill Xayah. We do kill one of them though, which makes the Baron a little bit slower, also means that they don't have a Baron buff. Right, we get vision here, but we're not really pushing out the waves. We can't really contest it at all, so it doesn't really make sense to be hanging around so long. This is very good from Xayah to push out the wave like this, get the wave just a little bit deeper into the enemy territory. Here, I think Gwen needs to base quickly. She's got a little bit of gold in her bag at 2.3k. She can go back and spend that, get, you know, a little bit, get that like that needlessly large rod, and potentially she can walk into the enemy jungle here and pick up camps. Right, that's what I think she should be doing here. Walk into the enemy jungle, try and pick up the wolves, the blue and the grump if they're up, and then go back and buy 2 needlessly large rods. She does in the end just decide to go base. But look at where this wave is for the enemy team. This wave, the wave that was pushed out, they're going to have to try and push it from here in the lane, probably. That's where they're going to have to push it from, which is going to take a lot longer to get to this point here instead of just having it here. Potentially also, if we got the wave in a bit earlier, the wave could be hitting it a bit longer, the tower, and then that could potentially be a tower being traded as well. If we decide to leave someone on the top side of the map, see them all recall, push out the top wave, right? That could also push the wave a little bit deeper, buy some more time. However, mid wave is the most vulnerable, right? Which is why we're going to have Xayah move into the mid lane here and just push it out. Blitzcrank actually makes a really good play here in holding the wave so that the wave doesn't all come in here, which gives our wave a little bit of time to kill their wave, and then also start pushing more into the enemy team just normally with wave stuff, like normal wave management. Unfortunately, it doesn't hold it for very long, but it's long enough for Xayah to get here and then pick up the wave and push it out as well. So you can look to push the next wave. The next wave should be start getting baroned up though, unless they really don't. Oh, they don't. Okay, they're going to the red buff. Okay. The time it took to go to the red buff, we could have been looking to push out the wave before it got baroned up, which would make it be much easier and only make the red side be able to play off the next wave. Red buff stays for one minute, I think, after it's been killed, so there's absolutely no need to go to it instantly. So I think here Xayah should rather just move up into the lane and push it out. But yeah, let's see how they then play. So next objective is 2.5 minutes, so let's go forwards 1 minute 20 seconds. So this is the wave state at 1 minute 20 before the dragon. We have a ward over here. We have a ward over here, so much better setup for the dragon already. These wards obviously going to be timing out before the dragon spawns, but this gives us some sort of information on where they are and what they're potentially doing on the map here. Right, so we commit numbers to the mid lane to push out this wave. Look to play the hook. Doesn't quite land though, but shouldn't matter. With this prio that we achieve here by pushing this out, we should all be looking to play into the side lane here. Right, look to play into the side here, get some vision down on the enemy, in the enemy jungle, get some vision down in the back, you know, clear out the back part of the jungle. You know, that's kind of what we're looking to do here with this ward. Start pushing in, start sweeping. Right here, we don't want to sweep here because it doesn't matter. We don't want to sweep here. We want to get the vision down in this part of the map here. Walk into the river, start sweeping the river, and then by the time the next wave comes, we want to recommit numbers into the mid wave, into the mid lane to push out the lane. Right, that's kind of how we want to be playing here. We don't want to be hovering towards the top side of the map. There's absolutely nothing to do on the top side of the map. If we've decided already we're going to commit, we want to commit completely to this play, right? The top side doesn't really matter unless we're looking to give up this. Objective. Gwen TP has been used, so we can't look to play side lane here at all. So the next wave should be coming in. We give up a lot of space. We give up a lot of space here for having vision of this ward here and of having vision here, which means that it's impossible to gank them from behind, which means we don't have to be playing this far back. Right, they're not going to come in through bot lane because we have the wave pushing up here, which means they can't just go around the back and then gank us through river, which means the only place they can gank us through is the top side of the map, right? So I think we can look to play hug the bot side of the map here and then play up in this little zone here and actually catch the wave nice and early on the next wave, and then look to play for more vision or clearing of vision or anything like that, right? So they all take a recall here. Well, everyone except Ornn Blitzcrank. And so they give up the wave prio here, which is fine. You know, you pick up a little bit of extra stuff on your champions, you know, whatever. Personally, not a big fan of it, and I'll explain why. I think after this game, I'll go back to our trusty friend Rift Kit, and I'll start doing a little bit of explanations on how to play and how to set up objectives and such, vision-wise, lane state-wise, all that sort of thing, right? Because it seems like there's almost none of it really going on here from the team, so we're going to have to spend the time rather teaching it rather than looking for it and fine-tuning it, right? So the teleport comes out here. Jarvan gets caught out, does get the jump on the Vi. It's now, Dragon has spawned and we have no vision again except for a blue ward on the Dragon. Right, we're walking basically into fog. Xayah in a little bit of trouble here. This is really good for the Xayah though, it's kind of exactly where Xayah wants to be playing in terms of the game. The Ornn ult goes wide. Xayah's in a little bit of trouble. She dies, but Gwen should be able to clean up the fight here. Full HP still, you know, this should be totally fine for her. And yeah, it is going to be a cleanup. So again, very blind in terms of this actual, you know, setup. So let's then go to, let's skip forward 1 minute. So it's 30, let's go to 31:11. Okay, Baron is spawning, and here we have much better vision for the objective, right? We have much better vision. I don't think we can see this recall though, that'd be kind of crazy. Oh, there's no recall, okay, that makes a lot more sense. So we see Meteor walk up, so we have to assume there's a ward in the Baron now. Right, and we have a lot of vision on where they are on the top side of the map because of these wards. Right, and so with Dragon spawning in 40 seconds, these wards should all still be up. Or both still be up, rather. This ward should still be up as well. So this is a lot better vision in terms of actually playing for the objective. Just need a control ward in the pit here. And that should be perfect. Control ward comes out, which is good. And this then denies a lot of the vision that red team have. Red team are pretty much stuck here in terms of vision. Right, blue team should have a very clear idea of what's going on. Basically everything. This ward was cleared out though, so they should probably look to place that one down again. Potentially get it a little bit deeper though. A ward over the wall here makes a lot of sense. Right, we probably want someone else to commit a ward here. Now that all three of these wards have come out, unfortunately it doesn't look like there is another ward, so they are just going to use their own bodies as a kind of a vision there. The own ultimate goes to Narnia. The fight comes out here. Not the greatest of fights, going 1-for-1. Obviously Jarvan dying as well means that you know, the Baron isn't entirely possible. No one really hitting the Ornn here, which is not the best. Melio gets sniped out, which is good. All die. It is what it is. Not really looking at this at all. Okay, so now in terms of the Baron, right, everyone's again kind of... Everyone's spawned. We need to be looking again at how we look to play for this Baron in terms of this, in terms of the game. Right, we have the one ward over here, we have the control ward over there. We don't have any vision going into it. It's not allowed to do this. We cannot do this at all. We don't have top prio, we don't have mid prio. We cannot walk into the river like this from Blitzcrank Jarvan. It's not allowed, we can't do it. We have to first look to play the wave, get the wave a bit deeper, then walk into the river with the wave. Right, that also buys time for the whole team to kind of group more together, right? If they waited for the wave, everyone would be here by the time, and then they could look to move into the river, right? I don't think they can look to give up this wave here like this. Xayah is going to do red buff at a really weird time. I think you look to push out this wave first, get it much deeper into the enemy team, and then look to play towards the red buff. In this game, I think that has to be the play. Doing this means that you give up mid prio means you give up river prio, and then obviously this is all bad, right? Now there's two objectives coming up, and it's on us to decide which one we want to play for. Right, we have to decide either the top side or the bot side, and then we have to make that decision. Then with that decision, we know where we want to go. Right, that has to be kind of how we decide on what we're trying to do. And so we're gonna have to see where it is that we decide to play. Right, Gwen obviously in the side lane here. This pressure that's being created, she doesn't have any vision, which means that people are gonna want to commit over to her. Right, this being the Gwen being here probably means that this is still the primary objective that we're looking to play for. Right. We see numbers committed in the mid lane. We do not want to fight here, knowing that Gwen is on the side lane. We just want to buy Gwen time in this situation here. So Gwen pushes out the wave and then goes base. Right, and blue team commits to the Baron. They get a ward over. They see the Vi. They don't know where the Vi is anymore. They have to tag Vi. They have to tag Vi 100%. Blue team secures the Baron. They don't tag the Vi, and this is a big blunder by my team. When there's a jungler around, you have to spot the jungler. You cannot just let the jungler exist. Right, the Baron goes to our team, and now we should just be looking to end the game on this push. Right, we are very strong. We've got like 4 items on 80 carry. We're very strong, so we have to be looking to clean up this game really quickly. So how do we do this? Right, we have a powerful side laner, which means that we want to be side laning. We want to have a side lane, which means we want to be playing 1-4. Right? We have the Xayah. We have the Ornn, we have a little bit of disengage, so we want to kind of play more side lane and then look to end the game, right? The hook comes out, they pick up another kill, And now with all 5 of them in the mid lane, they should probably be looking to end the game. They can go bot potentially, but because all 5 of them are here, they have the wave. It's not the end of the world, I think, to look to play more towards this wave that they have here. Have the Baron as well, so they should just be looking to close it out. So the game should end probably right around here. If I speed it up a little bit, the game should end. Yeah, it does end. Okay. So we're going to go and we're going to go spend a little bit of time in our favorite Rift kit. Okay. And we're going to start taking a look at how to actually play out these objectives, right? How to actually set them up in terms of vision, in terms of lane states, in terms of all that sort of thing. So let me just get the screen over to this one, the correct one. There we go. Let me clean up what we've got over here. Okay. So we're going to talk about 2 things, right? Firstly, we're going to be talking about the Drake, and then we're going to be talking about the Baron, right? We're going to be talking about the Drake in terms of blue side first, and then we're going to talk about it in terms of red side, right? So that's how we'll do it. Okay, these only start applying from 3rd Drake onwards, right? When we're speaking about Drake, and obviously these are only we're only talking about the Baron, obviously from 20 minutes, right? And then Herald as well, we can take a look at as well for playing. But first we'll talk about the Drake, then we'll do Herald, then we'll do Baron. Right, so in terms of Drake for blue side, right, you want 2 things to happen, right? Firstly, you want the mid wave to be pushed past the mid point, preferably more past this point here. Right, if it gets stopped before this point, it's bad. The reason you want the mid wave push is so that you can then have vision if they try and walk past the wave into the river here. Right, that's kind of the thought process why you want the mid wave pushed. Also, the mid wave push means that they have to respond to the mid wave being pushed into them, and then with them having to respond to that, then you then have more free time to do whatever you want on this bot side of the map, right, in the river or something. Okay, so you want the mid wave pushed out, and you want bot wave pushed out if you're looking to play for the Baron, for the Dragon, sorry. Now, why do you want bot lane pushed out? For the exact same reason you want mid lane pushed out. Firstly, you want your bot lane to be able to move, or whoever was in the bot lane to be able to move first to the Dragon. Okay, you don't want to have your person that you've got in the bot lane standing over here, and then enemy team can just move much earlier than you onto this objective, right? So you want to have both lanes pushed out. Okay, it also gives you vision of when someone's trying to flank behind and get into the river. You can see them. It gives you that sort of vision, and also nullifies a ward being needed here, right? If you have the wave pushed out. Obviously, if the wave dies, you might have to reassess. But if the wave dies, your wave, they should meet over here, and that should give you the vision over here to stop them from walking in, right? So pushing the wave is really big. It's only if the wave is being pushed into you that you then don't see them standing over here, potentially walking into the river, right? So that's kind of the thought process there behind those ones. So you want to push out bot, you want to push out mid. In terms of vision that you want set up, okay, you want to ward 2 things, okay? Firstly, you have to ask, what does vision do? Right, this is a very big question that you have to ask yourself, is what does vision do? Okay, vision gives you information, okay? That's the point of vision. So vision is information, right? That's what vision is. Vision equals information. Okay, so that's what you're trying to achieve with your wards. Your wards are not supposed to exactly spot someone out, but they're supposed to give you an idea of where they are. Okay, so for example, if you have vision absolutely everywhere in this jungle, okay, let's just exaggerate a little bit, right? You have vision absolutely everywhere in this jungle, and you don't see enemy jungler in this vision pile. Where is jungler? Top side of the map. That is information. Okay? Because with knowing that the top lane is on top side of the map, or the jungler is on top side of the map, your top laner can walk back, and your bot lane can walk forward. Right? So there's a lot of benefits that you get for knowing that enemy is on the top side of the map. Right? So that's information. Obviously, this is a complete massive over-exaggeration, but you'll never have all these wards down, so let me just get rid of them, right? Because it's annoying me a little bit, it's irking me. But that's kind of the point of vision, is it's not necessarily to spot someone out, but it's there to also give an idea of where you potentially may be, or where the jungler may potentially be standing. Okay, so in terms of vision that you want set up, you want vision set up here, 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 and then also then these are your vision. These are your information wards. Right, these are your information wards. Now, information wards are wards that you use in order to get information on where they are. Then you have the second aspect of warding. So the first one is information, and the second one is, again, it's information, but you want to be warding the playing field. Now, what is the playing field? The playing field is most likely where the objective is going to be played for. So this is the playing field that I've drawn over here. It looks weird, but bear with me, right? That's supposed to be a big half circle, but it's fine. Okay, so this is probably where the fights are going to be if you're fighting, right? It's probably going to be over here, right? With the fights over here, okay, you want this area warded up as much as possible. Okay, obviously players act as wards, right? Players are wards. So we're gonna look at control wards here because these should be your 3 green wards that you place as the support. So then control wards, you should be working with probably 2, right? So one should be in the bush here, and one should be in the pit here. In terms of these other wards, wait, let me get rid of this because that's going to annoy me. In terms of these green wards, you potentially don't need these 2 like this. You could just have the wards set up like this. However, that's going to make this bush be uncontested. You will know they're in there. You just don't know what they're necessarily planning in there. That's not entirely bad. And with that extra green ward, you can put that over the pit, right? So that's how you can set up your vision. Right, if you have more control wards, you can obviously set up more control wards in however you'd like, whatever fashion you'd like. But these are kind of the necessary wards. This ward, you might argue, right, that they can now stand in this bush and they can do whatever they want in there. My counterpoint to this bush and knowing that they're in here is if you know they're in this bush and you have this warded, you have this warded. There's nowhere else they can be barring this bush. Which means if you have any big spells, you can be using that on this bush. Meaning that these wards all accomplish the right things. You have vision if they come through the side of the river of the jungle. You have vision if they come through this side of the jungle. Right? If no one comes on this ward, okay, and you know that they then clear this ward, right, with their sweeper. You know where in the jungle they are. You know that they're gonna be standing around this part of the jungle. Right? If you have the bot wave pushed in, you know that they can't be coming through bot wave, which means that they must be looking to come through this entrance, which means as a team you need to be controlling this entrance, right? So vision is not supposed to necessarily be to see your opponents, it's to know where they are, right? And this vision setup, just like this, accomplishes that, right? 5 wards, literally just your support and a jungler having a control ward each and then the support wards, and you have this sort of vision setup, which is almost everything that you need, right? Obviously with players as well, you can start looking to play, for example, you can put someone in here. If you have like a pick champion, like a blitzcrank, you can then be standing in here. But then the question now is, how do we pick up these wards? Right, and it's going to be the same for every single deep ward, right? Whether you're red or blue, if you're looking to play over, get wards in this part of the jungle, if you're looking to get wards over here, like wherever it is that you're looking to get wards, you might be asking, how do I look to pick up those wards? And the answer is, firstly, you have to push the midwave. Okay, this is the most important thing that you need to be pushing if you're looking to play on the other side of the map. The reason it is because someone has to answer the midwave. Right? And it also gives you vision much deeper into their lane, right? Which is exactly where you probably want, because like, let's say this tower's up, we can't really walk up and put vision down here, right? We're just looking to get some sort of shallow vision over here, you know, this like really shallow vision. Even this one might be a little bit too deep, so we probably can't even pick up that one up. But we can be looking to just get a quick ward, like just over the wall potentially, like maybe just over here, you know, get a ward into this area here. Like that's kind of what you're looking to do. But to get this ward, you need this to be pushed up, because if this wave isn't pushed up, let's say this wave is now standing kind of over here in your lane, and then you walk and get here, and someone spots you anywhere here as you look to walk up to pick up the ward. Imagine how easy it is for their mid laner to just cut you off here and kill you, right? Because considering it's probably going to be the support that's looking to ward, right? And the support probably not going to be very leveled in terms of everyone else, so you're going to get a large chunk of HP damage, right? Your HP might be gone. You might die, right? There's a lot of reasons why you cannot really walk into the enemy jungle without the wave being pushed. Obviously, if you want to walk towards maybe like here, you need top wave being pushed out, right? So that you can see the top laner over here, right? I even think like if this tower is still standing, I don't even think you can walk like this, because if the jungle is here, their top laner can rotate before your top laner can rotate, right? So I mean, there's a lot of things that you have to think about. It's most of like the question you have to ask yourself is how far can I walk without them being able to collapse on me easily anyway, right? Like that's kind of the question that you have to ask yourself if you're looking to ward. So if outer turrets are up, it makes it really hard to ward. But these wards are very easy to pick up, even if these outer turrets are up. Right, every single one of these outer turrets are up. Right, let's pretend everyone's up. These wards are really easy to pick up. Okay, now what you do is, you push the mid wave, and then you walk down. With your support, you know, your jungler can come with yours over here as well with your support, and then you can just walk kind of into this part of the jungle, and then get this ward down. Getting the other ward down is a little bit scarier. For example, this one. It's a little bit scarier, right? This ward is mostly going to be pushing out the bot lane. You push out the bot lane, you walk up here, and then you get a ward down, right? This ward doesn't necessarily have to be this far. It can be just over the wall here and accomplish the same thing, right? But you need, for this ward, you need bot pushed out, and for this ward, you need mid pushed out, okay? This ward here is probably one of the most important, right? Because this wall is going to cover for someone standing in the back here looking to steal over the wall, right? So it's a very important wall, okay? And you need to be getting this ward on every single objective that you do, okay? And then the last thing, if you see the jungler, right? If you see the jungler looking to contest, you need to tag him. Now, what does tag him mean? What does it mean? Tagging someone means that you have to always have vision on him, always, right? And you have to have a clear plan on what you're going to do in regards to the objective. Like you have to have a very, very clear plan what you're going to do in terms of the objective. Okay, are you going to finish it? Are you going to burst it? Are you going to stop it? Right? You have to also try and zone the jungler wherever you can, right? Normally, in pro play, you'll see that in the times of like where, I don't know if anyone's noticed this, but like an Alistar, right, flashes over the wall and headbutts him away, right, and just creates that little bit of space to then kill him. Something you can do with a Blitzcrank, for example, is hook him into the pit when the Drake is still at like 4k, right, because it's going to be very hard to burst a Drake at 4k, and kill him, right? You kill him while the Drake's at 4k, and then you finish the Drake. But if you see the enemy jungler, you have to tag him all the time. You can never let this jungler go out of vision, right? If you have to commit someone to go find him, so be it. Most likely going to be your top laner, unless your top laner is a tank, in which case it'll maybe be your mid laner, right? Or your support, or whoever it is. You're just looking to find someone to just find him and keep him away from the pit that you're looking to play for, okay? So that's going to be that setup in terms of the blue side, right? So that's going to be the blue side setup for the dragon. Okay, now we're going to take a look at the red side setup for the dragon. Okay, so red side, we're going to swap these, get rid of these wards. Okay. In terms of red side setup, it's going to be the same with the waves. You want to get the mid push, and you want to get the bot push. Okay, and then you're going to look to play off that one. Wards that you want to set up for the dragon is a bit easier because you don't have to necessarily ward over the wall, right? You can have a ward here, here, okay, and then you have a third ward allowed, which you can then like potentially, you can put this anywhere really. You can get a deep ward in here, and then control wards obviously go there and there as per usual, right? Clear up that space. This third ward could also be more here, right? So this is like, this one is optional. So this one is optional, opt, and this one also is opt, right? Depending on what you're looking to do, right? This ward can be kind of good, right? Because if you have, like, for example, if you have these three wards set up on the object, like for the dragon, it's going to be really hard for anyone to get into the fight without you knowing, right? So warding for the dragon on red side is really easy. You don't have to like waste one on the other side. You can use all three. You can commit all three to spotting the team in the enemy jungle, right? It's the exact same for like blue side warding this part of the jungle, right? So it's going to be the exact cut. It's going to be almost the exact same on that side of the map too. But yeah, this is kind of the setup you potentially want to get. You can obviously give up this one here for one here, right? If you want more of a block-shaped vision, right? You want to have more vision of their lane or of their jungle, right? If you're not that scared of someone kind of going this way, obviously this does give you the information if someone is pathing more towards this way. But if someone is pathing through the lane, right, and they kind of go like this, especially if the outer tower is still standing, you might not see them until they get basically right on top of you, right? So it's something to think about as well. Personally, I would probably go for more of a vision like this, right? Get more of a line going here. Obviously with the mid wave, or sorry, the bot wave being pushed, it's impossible to play through the river. This kind of vision here, you might ask how to get it. Again, this ward is going to be for mid prio, this ward is going to be bot prio, and this ward here is going to be just through the dragon, right? It doesn't really, you don't need prio for this ward. This ward is like a relatively good ward to pick up, but probably going to need bot prio so that you can walk back to lane from here, right? You can walk back to lane. So that's also going to be bot prio, I would assume, right? So let me just get this down, written. So this is going to be bot, and then this one is also going to be bot. Okay, so that's the prios you need for these ones. In terms of like what your top laner does, right, in terms of your top laner in all of these situations, if you have a split push top laner, right, you want the split push top laner to be in the top side of the map when playing for the Drake, right? If it's a tank top laner, you want him to be walking down to play with your team, right, so that you can have that big ultimate and frontline at the start of the fight. If you're playing a tank, you don't want to be teleporting into the fight after it's started. Okay, you don't want to be teleporting afterwards after it started, because then once it started, you've probably already lost in terms of usefulness with the tank, and also then you can't get your big ultimate right at the start of the fight, right? If you think about like Ornn ultimate, you think about Mundo running in, pressing ultimate, slowing them. You know, you think about Sion ultimate. These champions, all if you get late to the fight, can be, the value goes down as people aren't focusing on them, and the fight can probably already be decided, right? So just something to think about in terms of, let me just clean this up a little bit so that it's easier to see, right, where the wards are. There's not much going on, right? So if you're playing a champion that wants to be in the fight early, you'd look to be playing more towards the objective, right? If you're looking to play a champion that's more split push, you want to be playing split push, and if you have the ability to TP, you want to TP down, otherwise you want to just be looking to keep playing side lane, right? In terms of how you start setting this up, I always recommend that the whole team base at around 120 before the objective spawns that you want to play for. Right, get yourself back out on the map at 1 minute. Right, at 1 minute you'll be back out on the map. Okay, and then enemy team, like people are always told to base at 40 seconds, which means if you're out on the map at 1 minute, they'll still be on the map for about 20 seconds, and then once they start basing at 40, you can then start moving in, clearing vision, you know, pushing out the waves, more uncontested. If you need help pushing out a lane, you can commit the jungler to help push out the lane. Or the support, right? If you have like a big wave clearing ADC, you might just leave the AD carry alone in to clear it and then move and commit numbers to the mid lane to push out that wave. You know, so always I think look to base at 1 minute 20. Let me just get that down. 1 minute 20 is when you want to start basing as a whole team. Your whole team needs to base at 120 or roundabout, not all at the same time obviously, but ideally as close to it as possible to that 1 minute 20. You want to be looking to base and looking to get back onto the map and looking to get this vision down, right? Get that prio down, potentially look to catch any stragglers off guard, you know, all this sort of thing. Get your top laner going back in the top lane, spending his gold, getting prio so that he kind of forces enemy top laner to stay a bit longer than he probably wants. You know, a whole bunch of things, but yeah, 1 minute 20 before the objective is when you want to start spacing. Obviously, like I said, in terms of how you want to play for Drakes, these only count from second Drake onwards. Sorry, third Drake. Second Drake as well, you can kind of... First and second Drake, you don't really have the time or the resources to be able to set this up like this. It's more rushed. So in terms of first and second Drake, you take it when you can, when you see an opportunity, right? If you want to play for the Drake, you look to push out bot lane, you look to ask, you see if you can get mid lane pushed, and then you just get a ward. Very shallow vision, right, to try and play for those early Drakes. But you definitely need bot prio. If you don't have bot prio, you cannot play Drake. It's as simple as that. You can try and force bot prio by moving your jungler there. That works as well. But you need bot prio to play Drake. No matter what, you need bot prio. Okay, in terms of how to play Herald, Herald is where things get a little bit complicated, right? So in terms of Herald, let's pretend this is Herald, okay, before it's Baron. It's Herald. Okay. In terms of Herald, it's Herald is a very weird objective, right? Because right now, with the fact that plates are not worth that much gold, Herald was nerfed not to not be worth that much gold, right? Herald is a very weird objective to play for, and there's only two situations I think where you do want to play for Herald. Firstly is if you have a Herald champion. Okay, a Herald champion. And a Herald champion is a champion that really likes hitting towers. Right, so some examples of this is like Ziggs. Right, you have Bel'Veth. Okay, you have Caitlyn lanes. Right, like these are your primary ones. Sorry, your primary ones, I think, for hitting turrets. So this is like the first reason you play for Herald. The second reason you play for Herald is as a trade. So if you can, like, if you realize that enemy team is doing Drake, okay, and you recognize this, you realize that you're like, okay, I'm gonna trade the map, but you can't look to push a turret and you can't look to gank, right? Either the wave is like frozen here, but you can't gank and push a turret. Then your next thing would be Herald. Bless me, sorry. So that would be the two reasons I think why you look to play Herald. Outside of these two reasons, there's not much value in playing Herald, right? Unless you have like I guess a third reason is if you have a really, really, really strong top side. Right, you have a really strong top side. And you want to be making use of the strong top side, trying to force fights, trying to create pressure, you know, like you need to get ahead early, you know, that sort of thing. That's another reason, I think. So 3 reasons: Herald champions, Ziggs, Bel'Veth, or Caitlyn. Secondly, you're looking to trade an objective. And thirdly, you have a really strong top side, and you want to make use of the fact that you do have this really strong top side. So, in terms of how you can look to play for it, right? Obviously, if you have a very strong top side, you don't really need much prep outside of, you know, push mid, push top, play the objective, right? If you have like a really, really strong top side, there's nothing else much going on there. Okay. So, yeah, that would just be push top, push mid, probably get like a ward here, potentially, right? You have probably 1 ward, so you get it here. If you have a control ward at all, you kind of get it in the pit or either like, or out here, potentially, right? And then you just play the objective, right? So that's like if you have a really strong top side, the map. If you're looking to trade, right, you know enemy jungler is over here. You know that they're looking to commit numbers to here. Okay. And then, yeah, you do something similar, right? You look to push out the top side, look at to push out mid, and then you play Herald. Right? If you can't push out the top or mid alone, right? If your top laner can't push out alone, you, as the jungler, you first head to the top side of the map. Right? You show up in the top side, you gank, you get the wave pushed out, and then the two of you go towards Herald. Right? You're just looking to play this while enemy team plays this. Okay, so that's the thought process there. And then the last reason, if you have Herald champions, okay, let's say you have like Caitlyn or Ziggs or, you know, anything like this, and you're looking to play the objective, it gets really weird. Okay, it gets really weird here. And the reason it's really weird is there's a lot of things you have to ask yourself. Firstly, do you have a weak side AD carry? Do you have a weak side AD carry? Yes or no? Okay. If yes, base with support, and run top. Okay, base with support, run top. Okay, if no, okay, if it's a no, base with bot lane, and top, and lane swap. Okay, that's how you decide based on how you play for the Herald here. Is if you have a weak side AD carry, you either commit your support to the top side of the map. If yes, you have a weak side AD carry. If you don't have a weak side AD carry, you completely role swap. If you have Herald champions, but you have an incredibly strong top side, you just leave everything the same. Right? You just go play top side because you can just win the top side skirmish. You don't need anything else. If you are going to need support and you're looking to play it because you have Herald champions, but you don't have a very strong top side, right? You ask these questions. You ask the weak side ADC, do I have one? Yes, you make a decision. No, you make a decision. Okay. There's actually a fourth reason why you do play Herald, and the fourth reason is just going to be if they have Herald champions and you want to deny it from them. Right? If they have Herald champions, that is a fourth reason for doing the objective. And then it's the exact same situation as weak side ADC. Do we have a weak side ADC? Okay, and then weak side ADCs are champions that can farm relatively safely. So examples are Ezreal, Ziggs, Varus can farm safely for a while. Who else can farm safely? Like really long range champions, right? Like not champions that require resources. They're just going to be chilling, farming from afar. Absolutely no problem. I think these are like the three biggest ones. Varus is really cool, but Varus you don't really want to be weak siding for a very long time, but he can play weak side for a short time. Right? And then obviously stuff like Seraphine if you play it, right? Seraphine as well is going to be a weak side. But yeah, these are like your champions that you want to ask yourself, do I have a champion that can be safe if I leave him alone for a while? Right? And aren't going to get absolutely shafted for it, right? Because remember, Rift Herald isn't worth that much gold. Right? So it's not worth that much gold. And because it's not worth that much gold, it's not worth making your AD carry lose 3 waves for. Okay, it's not worth it at all. You're just going to kind of, yeah, just going to waste time, you know, waste gold. For this, that's going to probably give you 250 gold worth of plates, and then, I don't know, local gold is low. I don't even know what's Herald local gold. Let's check how much local gold. 100. Okay, that adds up to 350. And 3 waves in bot lane is worth 400 gold. And so if this gold doesn't go right back into the AD carry, which can only be given 250 by the way. 250 gold is all that you can give into the AD carry because she can't get the 150 gold, or he can't, whatever. Then you're left feeling very underwhelmed with the Herald play. Alright, so a lot of questions, like the question here is literally just, you have to decide if you want to play for it in the first place. Okay, you could also play to deny it, but playing to deny it is literally just pushing out the waves. If you push out the waves when the enemy jungler goes into the top side of the map, you know, then you're really sorted in that regard. So then, in terms of how to play for Baron, because that's going to be the last thing we're going to look for here, we're going to start on the red side of the map, playing for the Baron. Okay, you want to be pushing out mid wave, of course, top wave as well. In terms of vision, you're wanting to get a ward over there, a ward over here, a ward over the pit, and then 2 control wards there and there. Okay, obviously if you have more control wards available to you, that's a good control ward space. That's a potential good control ward space. This is a potential good control ward space. There's a decent amount of good control ward spaces. Also, you can go and like get one down here, for example, as well. Right, that can give you a little bit of vision as well. So there's a lot of places where you can look to put those extra control wards, but this is the basic setup for looking to play for the Baron. Obviously getting these wards down is the exact same theory as before, right? You push out mid wave, you roam up here. So this is a to mid prio, this one is a top prio, right? This one is a this is just when you play the Baron, right? That's just when you play the Baron. Can I draw a B, please? Yeah, Baron. There we go. That definitely says Baron. Just trust me. So that's going to be the exact same there as it was for the Dragon setup, right? In terms of top lane, what you decide to do, it's the exact same. Do you have split push or do you have tank? Do you have split push or do you have team fight? I think that's a better way of asking it, right? And then that decides whether you're at the objective when it spawns or if you're in the side lane when it spawns, right? So that's how you decide there. In terms of blue side setup for objectives, right, it's again very similar to the other side of the map, right? Let me just get these these wards gone. These wards stay the same, of course, obviously. Right, so then we can get rid of this one here. You want to be pushing out the mid wave. This is your biggest priority, by the way. Biggest priority. Okay, this takes first prior over anything else, is pushing out mid wave. Right, pushing out mid wave gives you so much ability to do anything. You can ward anywhere, you can walk anywhere. Pushing out mid wave is always priority number one. Pushing out top wave is second priority. Second prior. Okay, so you want to put pushing out both waves though, if possible. Primarily mid wave, because mid wave you can then push out mid wave and then translate pressure up to the top side. I'll push that one out as well. Okay, and then you want to be looking to get wards down here potentially, here and here, or of course here as well, right? These are all potential wards. Obviously, if you have control wards, you can place them in any of these spaces, right? You can look to place the control ward here instead if you have extra control wards. And Bloody Karma, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. So yeah, you can also you can place these. Oh, that's definitely not what I was looking for. But yeah, this is probably the ideal setup in terms of vision for playing the Baron on your blue side. In terms of how you can approach setting up waves as well, mid lane you always want to be perma pushing. Okay, you never want to freeze it, you never want to slow push it, right? You just want to be perma pushing the mid wave in terms of this one. In terms of top wave, right, if the Baron is 40 seconds away and you have the wave over here, you want to start slow pushing it, right? Get 1 minion advantage, okay, on the first wave. This says minute when I think it's better to just start drawing it, right? In terms of actually where the wave is in general, right? Obviously, if it's in the middle of the wave, you can just look to push it out. That's fine. If it's more towards your side of the lane, you can potentially be looking to do something else. For example, let's say 40 seconds, the wave is here. You can start looking to get a 1 minion advantage on the first wave, 1 minion on wave 1, 3 minion on wave 2. And then look to shove hard on wave 3, right? You can then use this on both bot and top side waves when looking to play and get some prio on those waves as well, right? Even if you get it in the middle of the lane, it is possible. It's just going to take a little bit more time, right? So this is about 40 seconds left. You need to start doing this. 1 minion on the first wave, 3 minions on the second wave, shove the third wave, right? Even if the wave gets caught here, if you have prio, you can then look to start building up minion advantages and then looking to crash it on third wave, which will then give you infinite amounts of prio into playing for the objective. Okay, so that's probably how we want to be setting up vision and setting up the waves in terms of playing for the objectives on both sides of the map. Okay, these have to be first priority, obviously, like I've said before. In case anyone's new here, I'm just gonna get rid of these quickly. Right, 1 minute 20 is a really good time to base when looking to play objectives. Okay, it helps get you onto the map earlier, right, which means you can get the vision set up earlier, which means you can play the fights on your terms instead of on their terms. Obviously, that also allows you to catch stragglers, right? People normally have 0-40 in mind for when to base. Like I said before, if someone doesn't base at this time and the rest of their team does, you can look to collapse on stragglers and then pick up a couple kills there before the herald or the objective spawns in the first place. And so that's why I recommend this timer. Obviously, it's just double the time of the 40 seconds. Nothing much too special going to that. It's not like there's something extremely magical about that one. And obviously, it only applies from third Drake onwards, right? I've spoken a lot about the Herald as well, how you decide if you want to play for that as a team. So yeah, you can also go take a look at that in case you missed it originally. But that pretty much sums up everything I had planned for the stream. Obviously, I did have a different goal in mind originally when starting the stream, but I think this is important, and I think this can help a lot of people as well if they do end up rewatching the stream and just taking a look at how I actually do want people to start setting up the objectives and such. So yeah, please feel free to share this with people as you need. If you think this could be helpful, please feel free to share it. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had planned for today. If there are any other questions, please ask them now. I'll do my best to try and answer them. But yeah, I'll probably give around about a minute. If there's no other questions, then I'll probably look to end the stream there. So we will wait for questions, and I'm going to doodle, because why not doodle? This is probably the best man I can draw. I don't think I can draw a man better than this. Not even in real life. So, you know, there you go. That's my best man that I can draw. And then do 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 do. Okay, so it seems like there's no questions, which is great. I hope I kind of explained things very clearly then, and I hope everyone could kind of understand what it is I was saying. But yes, thank you very much everyone for watching the stream. I always enjoy having all of you guys around. If you guys do have any questions at any point, please feel free to message me either on my stream on the next day, or feel free to message me on Discord. My Discord is stringer44. Obviously there's an E in there, which I kind of missed on my Twitch tag because I couldn't get stringer44, so it is just string er44, not the stringer without the E. Or you can message me on, like I said, Discord. In terms of otherwise, I also do coaching. If anyone is interested in having coaching, please feel free to message me again. I'd love to help you, whether it be on stream or off stream. I don't mind. But yeah, like I said, if you do want some help or you do want some coaching, please message me and I'll be happy to help. Apart from that, thank you everyone for watching the stream and following. I hope you guys all have a great day further, and I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Bye guys.